All right, bro. We ready to pick it back up.
Hold on. And then to allow me to speak, David, at this point. I'm not going anywhere. You can continue your train of thought, but you should allow me to speak and to respond.
But I'm still responding to your reading.
It's a long argument because it's a long.
I get it, but you made a long argument yourself, Shaka.
All right, go ahead. Carry on, brother.
Okay. Give me less than a minute, and I'll wrap it up.
My brother.
So give me less than a minute, and I'll wrap it up. So you created that. You went back into history. You muddied it with false facts in order to make a quantum leap all the way up to the 60s to say that Martin Luther King was essentially doing what they did. That's terrible logic.
That's right.
Because that's not what he did.
Okay.
He didn't take the theology of the early church to construct his argument. He took the German philosophical ideas and the zeitgeist of their theological leanings that was anti-Semitic to suggest that Christianity was a borrow from Greek mythicism.
Here's my question to you.
Hence,
about that one statement, because I can't speak a question. I just want to get a question. I can't questions up. Okay, so here's my thing. You said that he didn't take it from the early church father, and that he took it from the German zeitgeist. Are you able to prove definitively and documentedly that that was the case when he was at Kosher and not the case when he was at Boston University? Because you would have to do that. You would have to prove explicitly that that is where his learning was leaning from, that he was getting it from the German theologians and not from Pritchard, who was the professor of Near Eastern studies.
I absolutely can prove that.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to set up a debate on that, like I said, I'm very on the evidence in the first round. I mean, that's easy, Shaka. I mean, this is what you're saying.
I don't have a problem with that. So I would just like to read a quote. It's just a quote. That's all it is. It's a quote from a book entitled, it's a quote that holds your position, right? And it's called How Greek Philosophy Corrupted Christian Concept of God, right? And that is a tenet that many Christian theologians hold to. They hold to the fact that Greek theology corrupted Christian concepts. So here's the thing. Number one, you can't make that statement or by making that statement, you are also simultaneously confessing to the fact that Greek thought is up in Christian theology, that it's up in it. Because if it wasn't up in it, you would not have the grievance of saying how it corrupted it. So let's not pretend that the Greek philosophy was not up in the Greek theology, because it was. So let's stop with that lie, because that is a lie. It's nothing else but a historical lie. And I'm not saying that to insult you. I'm saying it as a matter of historical fact. Now I'm just reading a quote from the synopsis of this book, and it says,
"So, bro, pause that for a second.
The early church fathers portrayed in the historical."
I think they make it two different arguments. Shaka is saying because there are, Greek philosophy in it, then that means that it was influenced by it, in which I agree with it, because, the Bible says there's going to be false doctrine, there's going to be false teaching. And I think that Damon is arguing that there may be Greek philosophy in the false teachings, but the orthodox biblical doctrine is not from Greek. What you think? You think they making two different arguments?
You know what? That may be the case. Now that actually makes sense when you put it that way.
Okay.
Because if that's the case, then you can kind of see where the dichotomy between the two of them or where it is, I should say.
Right, because they started off this conversation when Shaka started it off, and he was saying when it comes to orthodoxy and non-orthodoxy. So in my opinion, I feel like he opened up the floor for him to speak on both. And then just now, based off what he just said, he was saying that Greek thought had to be in Christianity, because Christians would say that those are false teachings. So that's what led me to believe that he's speaking about. He's saying that Greek thought is in there regardless if it's false, you know what I'm saying, or not. It's in there. And Damien is arguing that the orthodoxy, which is the original is not Greek, but Shaka saying since it's in there, period, even if it's false, that it's in there. I
Right.
think that's what
Right. And from that standpoint, I think I can see where both of them coming from, and I can understand the points they making, knowing that they not necessarily arguing the same thing or arguing against each other per se. They are, but they aren't.
Right.
And knowing that, I can kind of look at it independently and say, okay, Shaka got a good point, and Pastor Richardson got a good point as well. Because at this point, they not counter arguing each other.
Right. Let's go.
Context show that during the second century, that's not even 100 years after your proposed event. It said that during the second century, theological concepts taught in Platonism were adopted as Christianity struggled to end Roman persecution. Now, it doesn't matter what their motives were for adopting it. I don't care about that. I'm making a factual statement that the Greek philosophy is up in it. That is a historical fact that is documented completely throughout history. So it's not the leap. It's not the incredible leap to say that that is what Martin Luther King was drawing on. Yet the German anti-Semitism is a very easy out to say, look, locally speaking, this is where Martin was. As I said, I look forward to see the documentation and say that's where he was in the 1950s when he was at Kosher. I'm not debating that that's where he was when he got to Boston University. I can picture him in my mind being there at Boston University. I don't see him in my mind being there or leaning on the German anti-Semitic theologians. I don't see him leaning on those Protestant anti-Semitic doctrines at Kosher in the 1950s. And there are very easily documented reasons to put forth as to why that position is held. But what I'm saying is, we don't have to pretend. I have far more respect for those Christian theologians who can concede a point that can easily be drawn up with the press of a button. It's like, why make somebody jump through a hoop when all they have to do is press a button and they're the fact that's right in front of their face? We know that the early Christian fathers relied heavily on Greek philosophy. That's not a secret. It's not even a concept. I let you go. I hold my questions. I had my questions and I had to hold them. So I'm asking you to hold yours, right? I'm going to say one thing to you that I say to my students often, because it's something that creates a lot of confusion, right? And I think that it might be something that will make you perhaps it'll give you at least something to maybe defend against in the future or develop a strategy to meet when you encounter someone like myself, right? That is, when it comes to language, right? You have different types of terms and words in languages, in lexicographies, right? In these sets and groups that belong to specific cultures, historically speaking. And what ends up happening is that quite often people will take a word that has a definition, and what they will often do is they will confuse the definition of the word with the usage of the word. The usage of words can
like
change
me, don't
culture to culture, but because the usage
Say that again.
I was just being funny. I said, he sound like me, don't he? Definitions, boy.
does not mean the definition.
Yeah, that's your demo all day.
With speaking to theologians, because what all of this really comes down to is the power to define. And as long as you advocate your ability to define something, if you don't know the actual history of a word, someone who is historically illiterate and linguistically illiterate will allow someone who purports to be very educated to come along and say, well, this is what this word means. This word means this and such and such. And Hebrew idea, concept, or term. The word logos is a Greek concept. It's something that Plato got from the Egyptians. That is a documented fact. I'm not going to argue with somebody about that. If you want to put $1,000 on it, I'll meet you anywhere, any day. Or 2,000. I can use the money. I'll meet you anywhere, any day. Anybody that knows me will tell you that. That's no secret about it. I will show up. You don't have to pay for my hotel. Nothing. I will show up. That is a fact. So what I'm saying is we have to stop playing the games so we can have a really good discussion. Because right now it's just about intellectual games, like hide and seek. I'm going to jump here and I'm going to make all kind of accusations against Shaka so that to attempt to create just a stink on what he's saying, rather than look at the substance of what I'm saying. Because there's nothing that I'm saying that anybody cannot press a button and pull up for themselves. That's what I'm known for. I'm known for people. I tell people, don't believe anything that I say. Just here is the information. Go look it up for yourself. Why? Because I believe in one thing, and it's something that governs all of my actions. I believe in the sacred African right to know. To know what? The truth. And you cannot know the truth if you are linguistically illiterate. You cannot know the truth if you are theologically illiterate. And the fact remains is that if you look it up, anybody, I'm telling any of you in the audience, look it up. Theology. Okay, I'm talking about as the Western world knows it. Theology begins with the pre-Socratic philosophers. Plato. Hold on, let me finish. It begins with Dallas. It begins with Anaximander. It begins with all of these Greeks who studied in Egypt. So therefore, if the Greeks learned about theology from the Egyptians, and the early church fathers relied on Greek philosophy and infused it up into Christian theology, why are we pretending that there is an absence of Egyptian theology in Christianity? Because that's a person that is allergic to.
Did you say pause it, bro?
No, I didn't.
Logic
Go ahead.
cannot connect dots and does not understand the concept of chronology. That's very simple reasoning. You don't need a PhD to understand that. That's just, I mean, come on, that's just being honest.
So, all right. So let me ask you a question. So
Okay.
I just want to make sure I'm following
Yes.
your reasoning clearly.
Sure thing. Sure thing.
Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong. Here's your reasoning.
Yes.
Your reasoning is that because you find Greek philosophical constructs being utilized by early Christian thinkers in the 2nd century, 3rd century, and so forth, 4th century, so forth and so on, and you think that because they're utilizing these Greek philosophical constructs, and then you're saying that because Greeks got their whole way of thinking from the Egyptians, you're drawing the conclusion that Christianity is essentially a borrow in reality of Egyptian mythos by way of Greek dress.
Okay.
Is that a fair?
Do you want me to answer or do you want me to?
No. I'm just asking you I'm not asking you to give me a statement. I'm just asking you to say, am I understanding you correctly? Yes or no?
Okay. I'm going to choose how I answer.
No. Because I want to make a point. I just want to know.
Brother, I'm not going to filibuster. You have my word.
No. I want to make.
This was funny because I can see that they both very careful with how they or with the subjects that they want to go about debating. Pastor Richardson, you know, he trying to throw a few subjects out there to see what Shaka gonna bite on. Shaka slipping and sliding and saying, nah, I ain't trying to debate that. I'm trying to debate X, Y, Z. And so they playing kind of cat and mouse. We know what happened with the polite debate with Pastor Richardson. What's your opinion, or do you want to save it till we get to the end on what's gonna happen with Shaka? Do you think a debate gonna take place, or you think it's gonna fall apart? And if you want to save your answer to the end, that's cool.
Oh no, it's cool. I probably think it's gonna take place. Hopefully, Damien open for it. It really just depends on you know, how Shaka feel about it. You know, because when it comes to how Shaka was throwing the money out, as in like, if you lose or if I lose, then who gonna pay for? You know, who gonna come out of what pocket? Damien see it more like a boxing match or UFC match, you know, WWE match, where it's a bag regardless of who win or lose. You know what I'm saying? That's the money in it, not the, you know, if I lose, I give you two. So I mean, as long as they can get past that part, man, I think it's gonna be one. You know what I'm saying? But to touch on what you said, I feel like Shaka is making statements, and then Damien is trying to rephrase what he's saying to make sure that he understands what Shaka's saying. And then once he I ain't talking about that, I ain't talking about that. So it's like that what you're talking about, because of course, as we see, Damien don't mind addressing whatever subject or topic Shaka bring up. So he's just trying to clarify what Shaka's saying, because like you said, Shaka is slipping and sliding all over the place. So it's like Damien trying to make sure that, okay, before I answer, is this what you're saying? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you can immediately following. So if you really want to know,
Can you give me 15 seconds? Can I get 15 seconds on the clock?
go ahead.
10 seconds. Thank you. All right. Here's my answer to your question. You are a student of theological history. Am I correct or am I not correct? Right? Okay, then you are. So if you are, then you and I are both equally aware of the German theologian school known as the history of religions, right? And those Christian theologians said emphatically the exact same thing that I'm saying. So why are we pretending that this is something Shaka's making up? This is something Christian theologians said. If you know it and I know it. So why are we pretending? But you go ahead and answer your question.
So again, back to my attempt to understand the logic.
Right.
You are saying that because of the presence of Greek philosophical constructs in explaining Christian theology, hold on, because Christian theologians utilize Greek philosophical constructs to clarify their theology, that must mean that the Greek mindset and all that goes into that essentially shaped what Christianity is. And since that came from Egypt, then Christianity essentially is just a borrow of Egyptian mythos in Greek dress. All I'm asking you to do is confirm.
I want to say this though. Shaka didn't allude to that last part shit. Shaka didn't get to the part of saying that the Greeks stole this from Egypt. I just want to show that Damien is playing chess because he's already ahead of where Shaka was possibly finna go. Cause I gotta admit though, and that's probably why Shaka is saying, hold up, let me clarify what I'm saying, because not only is Damien clarifying what he's saying about Greek, he's also going a step farther into something that Shaka hasn't said yet, but that is where he's going though.
Yeah, he definitely playing chess. He definitely playing chess. And I ain't mad at it, but I do think Shaka is about to pick up on the fact that
that's what he did. Yeah.
That's what you know what I'm saying. So Shaka ain't slow by any means.
Yeah.
Whether I am understanding you correctly, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, good. Having said that, here's what we can do. Okay, like I said, I would bury you in the first round under evidence showing that position that you're holding. It is just all kinds of logical fallacies behind that. If you want to set up, hold on, Shaka. Hold on. Because I'm getting there.
All right, come up with a figure and a number.
They set up a debate with me.
Okay.
Around that idea.
Okay.
We can create that because right now this is just a loose conversation. There's no rules to it. There's no central point. We're just kind of talking, and it's if we created a debate around a position that me and you have to defend, if it's related to this, maybe we can build from this or whatever. If you're interested in doing that, and we can set it up virtually or whatever, man, let's start at least talking about that because
I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that, David. But I'd like to say something before I forget because you said something important, and I'd like for the audience to hear. And that is, I want the audience to pay very close attention to the way Damon words things. You have to be very careful because that's what you call psychological persuasion. People will use their word thing. Remember, he used the term before, rephrase. He said, I'm rephrasing. There's no need to rephrase anything someone says. You address what a person says when you're being intellectually honest. You don't have to rephrase it. I've never rephrased anything that he said. I address what he said, okay? So because I'm being intellectually honest. So let's just say this. Damon said a moment ago, when he asked me his question, I want you to see the psychological assuagement in it. What he said was, he said, are you saying that that because the early church fathers used Greek philosophical constructs to express their theology? You see, that was the trick. The trick was he wanted you to think that they had a theology prior to this moment. You understand what I'm saying? That's a psychological trick. And you have to be careful and catch them. You don't give them an inch because they'll take a mile. What I'm saying to you is they use it to create their theology.
Okay, good. Hold on, Shaka. Okay, good. So now, Shaka, hang on, man. Okay. I'm glad you, because now I know what we can debate about.
Great.
So that, hold on, Shaka, because I really brother. So now that you said that, now that you just made that point, now I know what me and you have to defend, right? So my position will be to defend that the early church fathers did not create their theology, that they were continuing their theology passed down to them from the apostles, from scripture, not from Greek philosophers. Your position is to suggest that Christianity is intellectually a byproduct of Greek philosophy. That's what you've got to defend, right? And because you just said they created it, right? So which is to ignore all of the theology before that.
Okay.
So there's no sense in me and you going back and forth at this point. You have clarified the position that you need to defend.
I do always have a question.
Hold on, Shaka. I got to run. I just wanted to make sure that we clarify what you have to defend and what I have to defend. You have to defend the view that the early church from the 2nd century forward, that they created their theology from Greek mythos. What I have to defend is that they did not create it, that they were continuing Christian doctrine, theology, Christian orthodoxy that they had received from the teachings of the earliest church in the 1st century by way of the apostles and scripture, not from Greek mythology. That is what I will defend. You will defend that that's where it comes from. They were the ones that created it sometime in the 2nd and the 3rd century. So as long as we have, hold on, Shaq, hold on. As long as me and you both have positions to defend, as long as we both have that, and it's very, very clear. That's why I asked you. I'm not trying to be slippery. There's nothing slippery about me. I'm straightforward, right? So you don't have to keep trying to poison the thinking of your audience about me. Like, watch what he said. I mean, you don't have to do that, though. You don't have to do that. Just let your argument do that.
been doing it. Okay.
But no. I'm just saying, man, it's disingenuous to try and paint me to your audience as being slippery.
But I did pointed out something that was factually true, and that.
Yeah. But you were doing that. And all I'm saying is that that's the position you will defend.
So I like the cat and mouse game that's being played, because Pastor Richardson, a lesser individual would have took that debate just because of the pressure that was being applied. But I respect Shaka not taking it. I really do, because like I said, just because of the pressure that was being applied, a less thoughtful person would have took it just because, and let their pride kind of put them up against the wall, and they would have got annihilated, because that position is a weak historical position, period. And I don't even know if that's what Shaka was necessarily arguing. Am I wrong in that?
I mean, by default, he is arguing. I mean, that's what he was saying at first. And then I don't know if he realized that Damien had towed it down, but like you said, he did understand that once Damien broke down what Shaka would be arguing and what he would be arguing, that he didn't want to agree to that. But his Shaka overall argument, which I know you disagree with this too, Shaka overall argument is that the Bible is stolen from Kemet. So he's still gonna have, and okay, Shaka believed the Bible is stolen from Kemet, and he know that the Greek stole what they stole from Kemet. So he's still gonna have to prove that the biblical doctrine came from the Greeks in order to say that the Bible, what the Greeks wrote about the Bible, was stolen from Kemet. You see what I'm saying? So he still is defending their position by default.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's real.
So he is finna do what you said though. He is finna deny. I mean, he is finna turn down this debate, this topic of debate, but he's still defending that topic by default, because his whole point is that the Bible is a copy of Kemet. So you have to pull the Greek part out too.
I have a position to defend, and when we debate, then we'll bring it out with evidence.
All right, David, let me give you my references
and what have you. Right?
David, let me give you my point of contention with what you're saying.
Okay? No. Shock me. I gotta go. I just wanted to make sure.
I'll tell you what, we can have further conversation, and once we get to a conversation where we're both comfortable about what we will be debating, then we can determine what we're going to debate. Hold on, listen to what I'm saying to you. I'm not going to debate a battle question when my concern is for a war, right? I'm not going to debate a battle question when my concern is for a war. I would prefer to debate the war questions. Individual battle questions are won and lost. I'm not interested in
Shaka, here's the thing, though. Yeah. You what you don't understand here is that you just made a major claim.
But I did.
No. Hold on. Right. This is a war question, because you just essentially said that the origin of Christianity starts at a later period, and it comes from theologians that invented it.
That is not true. I did not say that. What I said was their theology. I didn't say Christianity. I said their theology.
But that's what Christianity is. We're talking about Christianity in the 2nd century.
But hold on.
At the end of the day, Shaka, at the end of the day, you just said that theologians in the 2nd century created their theology from Greek philosophy. That they were not continuing their theology, they were creating it. That is an origin kind of argument. That isn't.
He did say that.
Okay, I agree.
You're not a sub point. That whole debate. If you can prove, bro, that Christianity was invented theologically through the thinking of men that borrowed their theology from Greek philosophy, then you will have single-handedly destroyed Christianity.
Okay.
So you should want to debate that.
Okay.
Because if you can prove that, then
he was trying to push him in that corner bad, man, because he knew he would have destroyed. Man, that was real slick of the pastor. But I'm so glad Shaka didn't take that. I'm so glad.
I mean, that's what me and you was talking about what 15 minutes ago when we was talking about theology and philosophy. Shaka was saying that the New Testament was from the Greek philosophy, and that's what I was saying. It's not. So, but even though Shaka did say that, and now that he see that that's what Damon is trying to get him to attest to, really Shaka changed his mind, bro. Now, because that is what he said. He did say that. You know what I'm saying? So, but like I said, even when he take the position that the Bible is a copy from Kemet, the only way he can do that is by showing that the Greeks copy from Kemet, which we already know that. You know, we are, as you said about 5 minutes ago, we know that the Greeks stole certain things from Kemet, and I agree with you on that. So since Shaka can prove that, then he would have to prove that the New Testament was stolen from Greek theology. And like Damien is saying, that would destroy the whole Bible, bro. If he can prove that, that'll destroy it all. You know what I'm saying? It's the same argument.
You have single-handedly destroyed Christianity.
Right. Let me tell you what I'm willing to debate. If you want to debate so bad,
I think you should want to debate that.
I know what you think. I'm not in that aspect. I'm not concerned with what you think. I'm concerned with what it is that I would like to debate. Okay, what I would like to debate, if you want to debate something, my point is simply this: that Christianity got its tenets from ancient Egyptian religion. Period. 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 Nothing else. I'm not interested in any other battle questions. Okay. I'm not debating anything else. You want to debate? You debate me on that.
Okay. Fair enough. Right. You want to argue. So because again, remember, I followed the footprint of your logic, and I did follow it all the way back to Egypt, because that's ultimately where you're going. Because
no, that's not ultimately where I'm going.
No. It is. Because Shaka, you agreed with my summation of what you were arguing. You were saying that they got it from Greek philosophers, who in turn got it from the Egyptians. You agreed with that when I asked you, am I correct in following your logic? You said yes. Yep. So at the end of the day, for you to say that, well, this is the position I want to argue, well, that's fine. At the end of the day, you're still arguing the point that they invented it by essentially borrowing it from other mythos outside.
Yes.
So you have to defend that position.
No problem.
Is to defend.
No problem. Now, what I want to know is how much are we putting on this debate?
Okay, pause that real quick, bro.
Are we putting 1,000?
You see, bro, Shaka didn't get it. Damien just said the same thing I said a while ago. Shaka just didn't get it at first, and to excuse me for lack of a better term, but until Damien broke it down in dummy terms, it's the same argument. Whether you want to say the Greeks did it or if Kemet did it, for us to say that the Bible is stolen from Kemet, you would still have to show it the same way through the Greek and then through Kemet. You see what I'm saying? So it's the same argument. You know what I'm saying? Which you disagree with already, so we know that. But go ahead.
2,000. That's what I want to know. I could use the money. 1,000 or 2,000. Which one do you want? You got enough people. I'm putting up my own money out of my own pocket. I'm sure you can get $10 from all your people in your Christian apologetic community to see Shaka Ahmose defeated. I have no problem with that.
Wait. Hang on.
Okay.
Putting up money for a debate means what?
It means that winner takes all. If I win,
no. First of all, winner is a subjective thing, right? Hold on. Winner is.
Now you running.
No. I'm not running. I'm willing to debate you, but we're not going to turn this into like it's a sports competition and whoever wins. What I'm saying is that. Hold on, Shock, man. Listen.
Okay, for me,
I could pre-own you, and your whole community would be like, Shaka won every round. And because in their mind, hold on, man. I mean, let's be reasonable about this.
I'm sure you can find a working
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter who said one.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, come to the debate and put your info up, regardless of who says one. Absolutely. And I will make sure, we will make sure that we both are reasonably compensated by making sure that when people see the debate, that it is streamed at cost, at reasonable cost, and you can make your money from there. But this ain't the basketball court. But you know what I mean?
I'm willing to.
So now let me ask you this, bro. What did you think of this particular aspect of the discussion with regards to Shaka saying, "Hey, when to take all, I'm willing to put my own money up. You put your own money up, let's do it." Because I think he's gonna say, as a matter of fact, I know he is, as the conversation continue, we could find an unbiased party and they could sort of be the judge. I don't know if he used the exact same language as I did, but what did you think of that aspect, and do you feel that it was unreasonable?
Right. Before I say that, I'm finna say we can kind of end the video right here because I don't think it go on too much longer into anything that you and I care about beyond this. To answer your question, I feel Damon Richardson, man, because let's say if we get a Christian moderator, it don't matter if the information is true or false. Let's say we get a Christian moderator and he biased and he say Damien won. Or let's say we get a comedic moderator or atheist moderator and he biased and he say Shaka won. It really don't matter. I feel like it should be posted just like a UFC fight, just like a boxing fight, just like a WWE fight, where y'all come to the ring and y'all gonna get paid regardless. Like Damien alluded to, we can both stream the video on our channel and make people pay for it. You know how you can do a stream that costs or whatever. So Damien can stream it on his, Shaka can stream it on his, and they can make their money that way. Because whoever the moderator is, either way, from both sides, anybody can be biased on who won or who lost. It's even though there is correct information, it's not like math. Like for example, the moderator, let's say we got two calculus going head to head, and the moderator already know the answers to the question, and he got them written down. So if somebody say the wrong answer, that's an ant, and somebody say the right answer, that's a ding. You can't really do that in this type of debate based off the communities that we in. You see what I'm saying? So I don't think that either community would agree with either outcome, even though there is a right answer, because it's biased people on both sides. You get what I'm saying?
Right. I understood what Shaka was saying, and I understood what Pastor Richardson was saying, and that's why I think, had we continued, and I agree that we could stop it here. But I think Shaka said, hey, we can keep talking about it, and we'll come to a way to figure it out, because I would have been disappointed if it didn't happen because of that. But I think they will find a medium, because I do understand what both of them were saying. Like I fully understand what Shaka was saying, and I fully understand what Pastor Richardson was saying in this instance.
Right. Yeah, I just don't think Shaka saw it like that, because we know Shaka used to hood debate. We can't get around that. We know Pastor used to the stages and the big stages, and Shaka used to pretty much the same stuff.
Hey man, don't be trying to call my brother ghetto on the slide, bro.
I mean, if you want to look at it from levels, me and you ghetto on the level that we on. If you want to look at it like that, so But I think the way that Damien presented it, I think that one Shaka see the outlook of it that way. I think he'll agree to it too, because I think like a day after this, Damon Richardson went on BK Apologist platform, and he didn't say nothing bad about like the debate or nothing. So I think he still think it's on. Not that they agree to anything yet, but just based off this conversation, he didn't give no vibes that it was off or nobody was taking it wrong. And like I said, I think that once Shaka really realized what Damon is saying, that hey, y'all can get paid regardless, I think that he'll probably be with it too.
Okay, and that makes sense. And that makes sense. So overall, what's your if you can sum it up in 2 or 3 sentences, or let's just do maybe 2 minutes. What was your overall takeaway from the conversation?
I feel like it was a nice conversation overall. Once it settled down, I feel like Shaka was a little bit too aggressive. But based off of the statements and the questions that Shaka asked, like I said in part 1, I think this probably part 3 or part 4 that we're doing now. Like I said in part 1, man, Damien was beating him up, not like in the face or nothing. He was body blowing him, hitting a couple of ribs and shots. And I think Shaka was realizing it, so he was jumping around, skipping subjects and all that. But now that I feel like Damien was playing chess because he already knew where Shaka was going with the argument overall before Shaka even knew that Damien knew that he knew where he was going with it. So once they seen where each other was going with the argument, which is Kemet, the New Testament and stuff being stolen from Kemet, I feel like they came to an agreement on that, and I would like to see the debate and both of them stick to their guns. I know that you and I already disagree that something is copied or stolen. I know you on the side of syncretism and things like that. So even if me and you could be the moderators of this debate, no matter what Shaka really brings to the table, if that's the argument that Christianity is stolen from Egypt, then you and I could open and shut this debate as well. You see what I'm saying? So I want to see the debate, but I think it's a losing debate from Shaka's side, and I think you would agree with that as well.
Yeah, even though I don't agree with that position, I think depending on who bringing the information, a compelling argument can be made, right? Again, that don't mean I agree with the assertion, but I think depending on who bringing the argument, they can make a decent to excellent argument for the possibility of copying or stealing or however they want to state it. Now, that don't, just because you can make a compelling argument for something don't make it true.
I was just gonna say that.
That just means that you making a decent and compelling argument. And that argument is why I can confidently say I believe it's syncretism, because you can see similarities, but you don't just see them between the New Testament and Kemet. You see them between the New Testament and other spiritual traditions, and Kemet and other spiritual traditions. And so you got some people who will argue that it all hails from Kemet. You got some people that'll argue that that's not the case. At the end of the day, everybody would have to sit down and really, really examine the origins, the age, the archaeology. I mean, it would be innumerable amount of research that would have to be done to see what came from what. If you really talking about this was copied from this and that was copied from that, at the end of the day, it's not hard to imagine with people traveling from place to place, picking up things from here to there, that syncretism occurred. the
I mean, but like
cognitive
Damon said,
argument with these different cultures, that's and different beliefs, because we talking about staunchly religious people. I don't think Kemet people, the ancient people of Kemet, would take kindly to saying that these people base their doctrine on their doctrine. I think they would take offense to that. And I think those people would take offense to saying they took their doctrine from them. You understand what I'm saying? If we could talk to them the way we talk now, I don't think either side would agree with that assertion.
I mean, and we could take it a step further, even when Shaka agreed to, after he made the argument, but then turn around and agree to it as well. That's already been debunked. Like you're saying, people should sit down and do the comparisons. Like Damien was saying, no scholars teach that. It goes back to zeitgeist. It don't go no farther than that. You see what I'm saying? Like no scholars teach, because and this is what I was saying earlier too. In order for people to prove that the things in the Bible, I mean, copied, stolen, or even if you want to say syncretized, you would have to take it from the Greek side of it. And it's already been debunked that any theological thought into the Christian doctrine had anything to do with the Greeks. That's not even on the table. You see what I'm saying? So that's the reason why Damien is saying, like, if you want to argue that, I can bury you in the first round based off of evidence. It don't even go beyond that. You see what I'm like? It's really. That's why I said That's why I said I want to see the debate, but it's not even an argument. I just want to see the debate. I already, the truth is already out there about it. It is no getting around it. It's not nothing to do with any kind of Greek philosophy or theology. In order for anybody to try to tie, like Zeus and this god and that god to Osiris or Mithras or the nicest, is no comparison to it. So I mean, it's no theology from the biblical to the Greek. So it's a null and void argument. And that's why Damien is so eager to take it, because he know that it could be, it's so easily debunked. That's why he's so crunk to take it. You see what I'm saying? Because it's open and shut, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, but honestly, I like Shaka, and I consider him an intellect, like I said, based off the books that he read, bro. But really, he's not coming. Nobody of today, they're not coming with no arguments that's new. A lot of them have already been shot down. People are just regurgitating old arguments, honestly, bro. It's just so happened that we have the internet now to where people can hear what people was arguing about in these books, back when it was just books and stuff and white people and all that stuff. People online were just not hearing about this stuff now. This stuff been settled way before me and you was born, bro. These are not new arguments. This stuff is like old, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's old. Like, but
Yeah, it's, I fully believe there's nothing new under the sun. We just finding new ways to dialogue about it.
Right.
But with that, bro, as always, I appreciate your time. Family, you can find part 1 and part 2 on Paradigm Shift TV 314. You're going to find part 3 on Trust and Believe the Gospel with our brother Nobody and the conscious Christian Jerome Green. So that's been this particular breakdown of this video. I think me and my brother going to get together and do this a little bit more, whether it be a sermon from a particular preacher / pastor.
Right.
I really want to get into critiquing some of the stuff that's being said by James White and other evangelical preachers who have a particular opinion about certain things within our community, or that affect our community, I should say. And then also, the conscious community is not immune to what we got to say. So, we're going to go back and look at some things from, say that again?
No, I was saying neither are you false Christian pastors and biblical teachers. Y'all not immune.
There you go. So, we're going to go back and look at some stuff that Polite then had to say, the Hebrew Israelites, Moors. If you coming with some BS, we're gonna break it down and give our take on it. This was just pretty much a dry run of two individuals who we got a high amount of respect for, so you didn't really see no smoke being thrown. But as we progress in these critiques and we get into some some more acrimonious situations and assertions being put forth, you're gonna see us rip that apart. They don't call my brother or I should say, I don't call my brother the Scholar Slayer for no reason.
No reason.
And they don't call me Nkosi Yamakosi for no reason. So,
no reason.
You know, we're gonna get it on. But with that, brother, close out and tell the people where they can find you.
Y'all already know, man, it's me, Nobody. I always trying to tell everybody about somebody who can save anybody, and that is Jesus the Christ. Y'all can find me over there on Trust and Believe the Gospel YouTube channel. You can send me a friend request on Facebook at Jacobus Wyatt. And y'all can just look forward to us doing more things like this and other stuff in the future, man. And, you know, we appreciate y'all for tuning in.
And y'all know me, your brother Piankhi Patama Tulu Nefer Amon Ra. My brother pretty much said what it is. And with that, Hotel family, we out of here. Peace.
Peace.